Welcome to Unorthodox Orthodox Judaism, aka Stepna Torah and Yeshiva, where mainstream Judaism practices are challenged to restore more authentic Judaism. There's a practice of getting drunk on Purim, a holiday where we celebrate not having been killed from a Persian decree. Credit for the practice is ascribed to Rabbah michייב איניש לבסומי בפוריא עד לא ידע בין ארור המן לברוך מרדכי. Rabbah says, a man is required on Purim lebasum until the point where he no longer knows the difference between cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordechai. Here are a few thoughts, however. Lebasum, is that necessarily drunkenness? Can it be an endorphin rush? Is the advice of a single person in the Talmud legally binding? Ukva commented on a ban against music and singing, but no one listens to him. Is it even good advice? The next line after Rabbah's random line is, Rabbah and Rav Zera joined together in a Purim feast. They became mellow, lebasum, and Rabbah arose and cut Rav Zera's throat. Ephraim Ibn Abi Aragan pointed out that the story with Rav Zera was juxtaposed to Rabbah's random line to point out the absurdity of Rabbah's suggestion. Maharsha felt that the term cutting his throat was a metaphor for getting Rav Zera drunk to the point of almost dying, but that's still in line with Ephraim Ibn Abi Aragan's criticism. Ephraim Ibn Abi Aragan was not the first person to criticize Rabbah. Of the hundreds of debates in the Talmud between Rabbah and Abaye, only 6 of them are ruled in according to Rabbah. So why is it with Rabbah's random line here that people follow it? Is a Talmud Bavli even legally binding? Well, that's a question for another time. Continuing with the criticism of Rabbah's random line, Rab Avraham ben Yechiel Michael said, if one knows oneself and is likely to neglect the performance of a commandment, such as washing one's hands before eating bread or making a blessing over food before and after eating, or that one might forget to pray or might act in a lightheaded way, it is better not to get drunk. 2 years ago, I went to synagogue to try to get for afternoon prayers, and I was the only one there in the sanctuary. I went down to the social hall and there were people eating, and I tried to get them to join me for a prayer, and one of them was like, oh, afternoon prayer in Purim? That's difficult. Why is it difficult? They do it every other day. On the topic of Judaism and alcohol in general, the Torah does not straight up say not to get drunk, but also doesn't say not to shove a sword up your nose, so there is some common sense, and not everything has to be spelled out in the Torah. Biblical narratives involving alcohol tend to be negative. Noah, a man of the land, fell and planted a vineyard. Even the very act of planting a vineyard is considered negative. Priest in service and Nazarites are both prohibited from consuming yain v'shechar, which is best interpreted as wine and intoxicating beverages. Why are the priests prohibited? So that they can differentiate and instruct. Even in the Apocrypha, Judith got Holofernes drunk and then chopped his head off. On Passover, the 4 glasses of wine that we're instructed to drink are to be diluted. If one reads the passage in Tractate Pesachim, it speaks about mixing them with water in order to cut the alcohol content. Why? So they're not so intoxicating. Why shouldn't they be intoxicating? As Maimonides said, whoever becomes drunk is a sinner, is shameful, and will lose his wisdom. If he becomes drunk before the common people, he desecrates God's name. Rav Tanhuma is credited with, if the grapevine cannot stand up under the weight of wine, how can you? Considering all this information, anyone who gets to the point of not knowing the difference between Mordechai and Haman is an idiot, and anyone who commands or condones such behavior is a bigger idiot and responsible for any deaths that might ensue, as Mada, Israel's Red Cross, can affirm. Even Achashverosh did not force his guests to drink. Lastly, on the day we celebrate not having been killed, we kill so many of ourselves by encouraging alcohol.